possibly their most anticipated title to date. So let's take a flight into Starfield. From a team that has brought us the likes of Elder Scrolls and the Fallout series, it almost seems inevitable that a space-focused RPG was always within their DNA. Announced in 2018, this Xbox and PC exclusive has built excitement from that very day, with very little being shown. With a 2023 release planned, the gameplay reveal was overdue and has given us a chance to understand just what the team are delivering here. At a headline level, it's based on an evolved version of the Creation Engine, regally entitled the Creation Engine II. It has clear similarities with its rendering output to both Fallout 76 and in some ways Skyrim, which were built on the Creation Engine. Much of the basis that Fallout 4 and later titles ushered in, though, were physically based lighting shaders and materials. A deferred tile-based rendering pipeline which enables the high dynamic light sources across all games use, volumetric lighting, and more accepted modern techniques. But technology delivers a great deal more than just the visuals. Have it physics, aids animation, AI, and quest building stem from the engine's Radiant system, and much of these are what make up the core DNA of Bethesda games. As such, I wanted to break the main constituent parts of the engine down, compare them to previous titles, and see how they have or have not improved. Keep in mind, this is all based on work-in-progress footage, and the team will be working ahead of its launch. As such, all, some, or none of these areas could change upon release. With that cleared up, let's begin with the cover of the book and those rendering changes.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
Now, Fallout 4 and 76 really improved on building atmosphere within that real-world rendering and scale. From your emergence out of the shelters to the ruined wasteland sprawling out in front of you, to the depth it created with volumetric lighting, it instantly had an imposing and grandiose feel to it. Starfield has certainly taken this as the baseline and improved the resolution, the composite levels of those materials, and some form of GI bounces factored in, but looks better here than it did in the Fallout titles. Scale is again front and centre, with long barren vistas, much like Fallout. Height fog is again used, which will be a combination of flat 2D billboard sprites that can be raised and lowered to create depth and simulate atmospheric scattering of the air pollution and light reactions. Then volumetrics are also used, but mostly here within the interior sections. These do appear to have a distinct change though from those exterior sections, just like Fallout and Fallout 76, where I suspect these sections actually load into the bigger indoor areas, and that can then change the rendering, which is what we're seeing here. Shadow casting light sources are obviously much higher due to the electrical lights dotted around them, as are the shadow map quality themselves compared to outdoors, which use a softer penumbra effect, which is better than previous titles, but obviously a much lower resolution and cascades, which can cause dithering and flickering. These do appear to be using a reconstruction or at least part of the TAA specific pass, causing some creatures' shadows to be more stable but exhibit ghosting artifacts as they move. The light and shadows are mixed with volumetrics, creating a metallic look to most surfaces and sections here, with high gloss surfaces, metallic or not. This also shows that from what we can see anyway, screen space reflections likely remain within the engine, but they're not used here and not replaced with ray trace reflections or other post effects. Now this is inherently not a bad thing, but the game does use a great deal of SSR on water bodies in previous titles, and of all the areas shown so far, this doesn't appear to be the case, meaning projected cube maps and imposter light probes are relied on to simulate specular highlights and emphasize material quality. This may be a dual target of keeping resolutions and performance as high as possible across all platforms, ensuring that it can scale and run on the base Xbox One or lower end PCs, as this forms a good portion of its intended marketplace. A good start for sure, with rocky surfaces and tech-noir-like cities shown that the art and tech team have created a variety within the engine and the game world overall to ensure that we do not have 1,000 plus planets that are various shades of copy-paste grey. This also includes some nice fauna and flora sections, and I desperately want to see more of the worlds that the team have created.